Welcome back. We are joined each week by Colorado's best attorney, Phil Harding. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for sponsoring this segment.
You bet.
And you always teach us a lot. Today we're going to talk about what to watch out for if we're hiring an attorney.
You know, it's kind of ironic. You think I'm going to teach you about shopping,
Right.
and that wouldn't be me, unless it's about shopping about or for an attorney.
Shopping for an attorney. All right. So what do you mean by it?
Well, this week seemed to be the week that people called me up and wanted to jump ship and come to my firm. And I always tell everyone, I'm going to call your attorney first and tell them to give you a little more TLC. And then, if you still don't like them, give me a call. So what do you think is the #1 reason why people leave their attorney?
So you call them, you're trying to get in, you can't get in? I mean,
Yeah. It's close to that. Attorneys taking too long or not returning phone calls and not interacting. So that's the #1 reason. Look, when you hire an attorney, you're a commodity, right? You have a case and you need to interview 3 attorneys. Also, let's talk a little bit about what's known as a fiduciary duty. An attorney owes you a fiduciary duty, which means they have to solely act for your best interest. So it's super important. Interview 3 different attorneys. And when you're interviewing these attorneys, let's look at what you should do. All right, #1, don't go to, and I think we have a graphic for it. So #1, if you have a divorce attorney and you have a personal injury matter, don't go to your divorce attorney for that. So when you're interviewing them, I want you to talk to them and say, hey, you know, do you practice in this area of the law? Next, how many cases like this not only have they handled in the past, but are they handling now?
You're right.
So,
how much experience they have in that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If there's an attorney that says, you know, I'm handling 100 to 150 cases, way too much on that. Also ask them, who am I going to be dealing with in the office? Is it a case administrator? Is it a paralegal? Or am I going to be dealing with an attorney?
This is a biggie, huh?
It's a huge one. Yeah. You absolutely want to make sure that you have full access to the attorney and that you're not getting screened. How long do you need to wait for a response? If they say, 2 to 3 days, I don't like that. I mean, sometimes true. Attorneys are in trial, and so someone will get back to you. But if they're not in trial, they should be returning their phone calls. Also, if that office doesn't adhere to their promise about returning phone calls or dealing with the attorney, can you fire the firm?
Can
What do you
you?
think about it? Absolutely. Again, it gets back to that fiduciary duty. So if they don't adhere to their promise, absolutely, get rid of them. Are there costs to pay at the beginning? So if you're in a personal injury matter, there are some firms that say, I want a retainer. Now, we're going to talk about a bigger thing here in just a moment about hourly versus contingency fee. But if that firm makes you put up a retainer, especially when you've been injured, you don't have that money, I don't like that. And then finally, will that law firm be filing a lien on your case?
Okay, so when it comes to, finding that right attorney and then paying, I mean, how do you determine, okay, you're going to go with someone who's going to take your case on contingency or doing the
hourly?
Paying for it? Okay, the hourly one, yes.
Let's talk about that for a second. Colorado specifically says that it's your right, not the attorney's right, on a personal injury matter that you can either hire them hourly or contingency fee. So if you choose hourly, you bet there's going to be a retainer. If it's contingency fee, then that means the attorney gets paid a portion from what you settle. Also, the attorney should probably be paying for those costs, like for expert witnesses, filing fees, and the like. One other thing that I want you to look out for is if an attorney calls you out of the blue after a car accident, watch out for that. Or if a private investigator shows up at the scene and says, hey, here's a little packet, and it has an attorney's card in it, I don't like that.
Okay, so you're not supposed to, you're supposed to wait for them to call you. You don't call them, right?
Yeah, and we didn't get into this, but there's actually a rule of ethic that specifically says an attorney cannot reach out to you within 30 days of an accident, and here it is. I'm not going to go over it, but unless they had a familiar relationship with you or unless they waited for at least 30 days. So if someone's calling you out of the blue within that 30 days or handing you a card, or a private investigator shows up at the scene and hands you a card and says, here's an attorney. Not good.
The other direction, right?
Yep.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you very much. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. And to reach Harding & Associates directly, you can call Phil, 303-762-9500. That's his line. You can get a free consultation with him anytime, and you can find him online at hlaw.com. Thanks again, Phil, for sponsoring this segment.